Well, good evening. It is Wednesday. It is time for Tales and Cocktails. And tonight, I've got what I think is a really delightful piece to read to you. It's by Benjamin Franklin. It was from a letter he wrote to his friend, Jonathan Shipley, the Bishop of St. Asaph. And he had paid 2 visits to Twyford, in Hampshire, to stay with his friend. And in one of his thank you letters, Kitty Shipley, the youngest of the 5 Shipley girls, whom he was accompanying back to her school in London. And this is entitled, Kitty Shipley, aged 11, on marriage. London, 12 August 1771. This is just to let you know that we arrived safe and well in Marlborough Street about 6, where I delivered up my charge. The above seems too short for a letter, so I will lengthen it by a little. The first stage we were rather pensive. I tried several topics of conversation, but none of them would hold. But after breakfast, we began to recover spirits and had a good deal of chat. Will you hear some of it? We talked of her brother, and she wished he was married. And don't you wish your sisters married too? Yes, all but Emily. I would not have her married. Why? Because I cannot spare her. I cannot part with her. The rest may marry as soon as they please, so that they do but get good husbands. We then took upon us to consider for 'em what sort of husbands would be fittest for every one of them. We began with Georgiana, a country gentleman that loved traveling and would take her with him, that loved books and would hear her read to him. I added, that had a good estate and was a member of Parliament, and loved to see an experiment now and then. This she agreed to, so we set him down for Georgiana, and then went on to Betsy. Betsy, says I, seems of a sweet, mild temper squire, and he should happen to be of a rough, passionate turn, and be angry now and then, it might break her heart. Oh, none of them must be so, for then they would not be good husbands. To make sure of this point, however, for Betsy, shall we give her a bishop? Oh, no, that won't do. They all declare against the church and against the army. Not one of them will marry either a clergyman or an officer. That they are resolved upon. What can be their reason for that? Why, you know that when a clergyman or an officer dies, the income goes with them. And then what is there to maintain the family? I mean, there's the point. Then suppose we give her a good, honest, sensible country merchant who, I don't know, but that may do. We proceeded to Emily, her dear Emily. I was afraid we should hardly find anything good enough for Emily. But at last, after first settling that if she did marry, Kitty was to live a good deal with her, we agreed that as Emily was very handsome, we might expect an earl for her. So having fixed her, I thought, a countess, we went on to Anna Maria. She, says Kitty, should have a rich man that has a large family and a great many things to take care of, for she is very good at managing, helped my mamma very much, can look over bills and order all sorts of family business. There is a grace and dignity in her manner that would become the station. What do you think of giving her a duke? Oh, no, I'll have the duke for Emily. You may give the earl to Anna Maria, if you would, please, but Emily shall have the duke. I contested this matter some time, but at length was forced to give up the point, leave Emily in possession of the duke, and content myself with the earl for Anna Maria. And now, what shall we do for Kitty? We have forgot her all this time. Well, and what will you do for her? I suppose me, she may not yet have made so rash a resolution. Yes, but she has, unless now an old one, an old general that has done fighting and is rich, such a one as Colonel Ruffane, General Ruffane. I like him a lot, a good deal. You must know I like an old man. Indeed I do. And somehow or other, all the old men take to me. All that come to our house like me better than my other sisters. I go to them and ask them how they do, and they like it mightily. When they see an old man come, there's a friend of yours, Miss Kitty. But then, as you like an old general, hadn't you better take him while he's a young officer and let him grow old upon your hands? Because then you'll like him better and better every year as he grows older and older. No, that won't do. He must be an old man of 70 or 80 and take me when I'm about 30. And then, you know, I may be a rich young widow. We dined at Staines. She was Mrs. Shipley, cut up the chicken pretty handily with a little direction, and helped me in a very womanly manner. Now, says she, when I commended her, my father never likes to see me or Georgiana carve, because we do it, he says, so barren if we never try. We drank good Papa and Mamma's health, and the healths of the Duchess, the Countess, the merchant's lady, the country gentleman, and our Welsh brother. This brought their affairs again under consideration. I doubt, says she, we have not done right for Betsy. I don't think a merchant will do for her. She is much inclined to be a fine gentlewoman, I think, than any of my other sisters, and therefore she should be a vice-countess. Thus we chatted on, and she was very entertaining, quite to town. I have now made my letter as much too long as it was at first too short. The bishop would think it too trifling, therefore don't show it to him. I am afraid, too, that you will think it so, and have a good mind not to send it. Only it tells you Kitty is well at school, and for that I let it go. But respects to the bishop, and 1,000 thanks for all your kindnesses, and for the happy days I enjoyed at Twyford. With the greatest esteem and respect, I am, madam, your most obedient, humble servant, Benjamin Franklin. Well, I don't think I can follow that up with anything, so we'll leave it as it is. And I find it just delightful. I love these looks into the people that we put on pedestals. And his humor and his affection in that is just delicious to me. So, my dears, it's a short one. Next week, maybe we'll have a longer one. We'll see. But I hope it's been fun for you, as it's certainly been fun for me. Good night.